and welcome to this edition of Eat Right with Rouses. I'm your host, Keith Weissheit. Thank you so much for joining us as we welcome in our favorite dietitian from Rouses, April Sens. Hi, April.
Hi, Keith. How are you?
I am very, very well. Thank you. I know it's an exciting time of year for those people who are in nutrition and teach others about nutrition, for dietitians everywhere, because it's National Nutrition Month.
Exactly. So, I know a lot of people maybe have seen this at the beginning of March, but I figured it's great to talk about it at the end of March. So that way we can have a reminder throughout the month. And then also, something to think about throughout the year of how we can, maybe make our nutrition a little bit better. But, the theme for National Nutrition Month this year is called Fuel for the Future. Oh, and I think it's a great theme because it's kind of broad and you can kind of interpret it as far as, what works best for you and your family. So I have a few ideas of what maybe that fuel for the future might mean. And, maybe you interpret it as something else too. But one thing that I think about is it can be about agriculture and how we can be more sustainable. So, what can we do as far as being able to eat more plants, maybe support our local farmers, do some things like that. Maybe it's planting some seeds in your backyard as well. So what can we do to be more sustainable and agriculture aware? Another thing too is less food waste. And, a side note, this can be budget friendly. So less food waste involving, maybe it's doing something with the things that you would normally chop up and throw away, maybe the discard of some fresh vegetables. Maybe that's something that you can keep and make some vegetable stock with. Maybe it's something that you can juice if you have a juicer, or maybe it's something that you can use in another way. Another thing too that you can think about for the same purpose is for less food waste is using some frozen foods. A lot of times you just have to open up a package and there's actually no prep, and it's a lot easier for us, and there's really nothing to throw away that's inside of the package. Frozen fruit's a great example of that. Some frozen strawberries, that's a great example of that as well. Another thing too is eating healthier to sustain a better future for our families. So maybe helping our little ones, learn to eat more of a variety of foods. And I know that can be very challenging for a lot of parents. A lot of parents struggle with having maybe their kids tend to be picky eaters and things. But reintroducing those foods, you have to introduce those foods several times. I think the studies show something like 15 times or more, to get a child accustomed to seeing it, tasting it, smelling it, and really using those senses. So definitely, stick with it if you're having trouble getting your child to eat more of a variety of food, but that's going to be, great for future of our families. Spending time together in the kitchen. That's another thing too. And then also helping our future shoppers, our kids learn about nutrition. And so looking for ways to do that. Now, here's some action items of, what are some things we can actually do to fuel our future. So I gave you a couple of things of maybe what that means, but what can we actually do? So one thing could be maybe trying a new fruit or vegetable as a family. So maybe you've been perusing Rouses and you saw something, maybe you've never tried a mango, maybe it's an opportunity to pick one of those fruit or vegetables up, bring it home, wash it, and try it out. If you're not sure of how to cut it or slice it, I'm sure you could find a video online on, how to cut or slice something but don't be afraid to try a new fruit or vegetable and try it as a family and have like a little taste testing. And that way it can be fun and also be a family-friendly activity as well. Another thing too we could do is maybe family meal planning and recipes to try. So sitting together and really planning what we're going to eat. Sometimes it can become, if you have a big family, you're cooking for everybody, a lot of times it can be a challenge to try to find something that's going to please the whole family. Maybe you're running out of ideas. Bring the family together and plan those meals for the week out together. This can really simplify it for the person that is actually like having to put this list together. And also it can be more engaging and also get the kids more involved. So if they're involved in planning that meal, maybe they might be more likely to eat that meal, right? And so another thing we can think about too is eating more meals together. And Keith, I know you know as a social worker, there are some benefits to eating more meals together, spending more time together. So having those meals together as a family, there's actually studies that show that there's many benefits as far as kids' social skills, grades. I mean, there's many things, many good outcomes from eating family meals together. And then also getting more physically active. Now that could be something that you do after a meal. Maybe it's going for a walk together, or maybe it's just you going for a walk, on your own and having like some really nice time. And then I'm going to do these last few, practice mindful eating, really paying close attention, less screens. Try a meatless meal. Maybe it's something that has some beans and lentils. And then also let everyone help with food prep and also trying some new herbs, spices, or citrus. So all of these things are some different items, and you have to do what works for your family. But just think about how we can make our nutrition better together.
Some wonderful recommendations, and I love that you've outlined each of those for us to follow. So, April, thanks so very much. As always, we appreciate it. Some great ways for us to have better nutrition now and throughout our lifetime with our families. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Keith.
All right. And that will do it for this particular segment of Eat Right with Rouses. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.